Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Karibuni sana to this session. I can see we are joined by the different universities across Kenya and Niger will be joining in a few. So ladies and gentlemen, this is I Choose Life Africa and welcome to this sales program. We are dubbed 2025 University Sales Training, and this is a program by Choose Life Africa whereby we equip young people with the skills, knowledge, attitude and practice that would help them go and be conquerors in the outside world. So I'll be joined by different sales from the different universities that we work in. We'll be joined by Turkana University all the way from Lodwar in Turkana County. We'll be joined by Bomet University all the way in Bomet. I miss the Mursik in Bomet. And then we are all the way from the home of champions, Eldoret, the city and home of champions. We have University of Eldoret, Moi University, and Arvist joining us, students from Arvist. Karibuni sana. We'll also be joined by Laikipia University all the way in Laikipia, who will be joining us for today's session. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also privileged to have Nairobi County, University of Nairobi, JKUAT, Kenyatta University, TUK students who will be joining this program. Karibuni sana. Today being the last day of March. How are you feeling? Because we are coming to the end of March. I mean, this year is flying. Just the other day as we began in February, now we're in March. We are approaching April. Karibuni sana for the different university students across. We also privileged to have Machakos University. I know Machakos University have been leading in these university competitions that we've been having. So Karibuni sana Machakos University and every other university that is students from Daystar University, Strathmore University, Karibuni sana. I will be taking the roll call in a few minutes to know who we are having for today's session so that we can know how many students we are having today and the different universities represented in today's session. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, Karibuni sana. My name is Ian Muiga. I work for I Choose Life Africa. Pleasure to be hosting the sales program right from our headquarters office in Nairobi. Karibuni sana, and very, very happy to have you here today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember, we are coming to almost the tail end of our program. And the thing about this program is you will get commissioned, or rather you will graduate at the end of the sales program. I know we started in February. We started with about more than 700 applications across the different universities, and we had to take only 30 applications. Now remember, for you to be part of this program, you fought for it and you earned it. Now we'll also be gauging the different sessions that each seal has participated, and for you to get commissioned, you must have done at least 80% of the sessions. Now remember, you are only allowed to miss 2 sessions. So if you missed more than 2 sessions and your name is not on the sign-up sheet proving that you've missed more, I'm sorry, you won't get commissioned. But if you have participated in all the sessions, ladies and gentlemen, you will be able to get commission. Now, what does commissioning look like? Even as we look at the today's session and the topic and our guest facilitator will be taking us through today's session. What does commissioning look like? Commissioning is for you being commissioned to go out there as a SEAL and change the world. Remember, the concept of this training is based on the US Navy SEALs, that we are trained to go and change the world. We are not going to whine about the problems, the different challenges in the world. The SEALs program is to equip you and empower you to go outside and change the world. So karibuni sana to today's program. And today our session is very interesting. We'll be looking at entrepreneurship and how do you start and run your own business. How can you start and run your own business? And we'll be hearing from one of I Choose Life alumni again, who was part of us. Actually, the person who will be presenting today was the program manager for this particular program. Just that he transitioned. But either way, he's still an I Choose Life alumni, and be looking at entrepreneurship. How do you start and run your business? What do you need? What are the different skills that you need to build for you to start, run, and grow your business? So it's not about, we looked at employability. As young people, there are those that would like to have employment or get employed, but we have others that would like to venture into their own business and startups. So we'll be looking at this. How do you go there and start your own business? How do you run and how do you grow your own business? So we'll be looking at that and hearing from that. So karibuni sana, and we are very, very happy to be hosting you today from the different universities. Karibuni. So we'll be looking at that today, and just the bit that I was able to explain to you about commissioning and how we are going to go about it. It's coming soon. I know the different counties have already started preparing, but remember, we shall only take those who have qualified for them to get commission. Ladies and gentlemen, again, remember, you are being equipped for you to go and change the world. So that is the whole concept, the whole idea of this particular program. So I'd like to hear from the different universities. I'll take a quick roll call to know who's here, who's joining us. I can see we have the university that has been number one, the number one university. I would like to hear from Machakos University, Mwaka and group. How many are you and where are you joining us from? I'll be able to have this so that I can be able to hear you. Mwaka, are you there? Mwaka, Machakos University, Stanley, Winnie is there. Winnie, how are you?
Yeah, I am here. I'm doing great. Machakos University, we are following.
How many are you? Can you switch on your video? We want to see how many are you. We trust you, but we must verify. Let me see Machakos University. My friends, Winnie, Stanley. Winnie, I'm waiting for you. Hi, guys. Good. Yes, Winnie, you were saying something?
But as soon as they'll be done, we'll be here.
So how many are you? The number I've seen at least.
At the moment, we are 8.
Okay, Machakos University 8. Mwaka, are you here? Are you taking the roll call? Mwaka?
Yeah.
Mwaka?
Yes.
Okay, I can.
Yes. Taking roll call.
Yes, Mwaka, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, Machakos University 8. Continue taking the roll call. Thank you so much, Machakos University. Over to Turkana. I can see my friend Joseph Echwa is ready, and the team from Turkana University. Echwa, you can unmute and talk to me.
Yeah, very ready to listen to the session.
I can't hear you.
Yes, Ian.
Joseph?
Yes.
How many are you guys?
We are 15.
Oh,
The rest
15.
are coming.
15. Okay. Thank you. That is Turkana University. Where the rest? So that is Turkana. Thank you, Joseph and team. I know you guys are ready and tuned in for today's session. So 15 Turkana University. Thank you, Joseph and team. Let's go to the home of champions, Uasin Gishu, Prince. Prince? Okay, let's go to Laikipia. James, you had unmuted. Let's do Laikipia, then we go to Uasin Gishu. James?
Yes.
Oh, there's
yes,
Ali.
yeah.
I know the master seal is also. Okay. Hi, Ali. How are you, Laikipia University?
Yeah, fine, Mr. Ian.
How are you? How many guys are you? Hi. I know today I was supposed to take the training from Laikipia University, but I'll be coming very soon.
All right, we'll appreciate. We are 13 of us.
You're 13 of you?
Yeah.
Okay, sawa. So I'll be coming Laikipia. Sorry, today wasn't possible, but I'll catch up with you very soon. Okay?
Yes, Ian.
Yes, James, how are you?
Yes, I'm good. Today we were split into two groups.
Yes?
That is the first group is in the session. We were two groups today.
Okay.
Joining from different venues.
Oh, how many? All
we
of
are
them
not
together. So which
Uasin
venue are you in,
County.
James?
We were participating in a public participation baraza. We have the team coming.
Hey,
So
James.
we are joining the others in the hall right now.
Okay. Thank you. Hey, Laikipia University are very organized. Thank you, James, for the good work, and Ali for the good work that you're doing in Laikipia University. We appreciate you. Let's go to Bomet. Bomet University. Where is Bomet University? I want to call out my friend from Bomet University. Where is he? Looking for his name. Bomet University? Bomet University, anyone from Bomet? So Bomet 0, Nairobi University. Oh, we have who? Emmanuel, how are you?
Hello.
Yes, Emmanuel, how are you?
We are good.
You're good. Bomet University, right?
Yes, we are from Bomet University.
How many are you right now in today's session?
We are 5. The others are joining.
Okay, the others are joining. Thank you, Bomet University. Which university we've heard from? Turkana, Laikipia, Machakos, Uasin Gishu and Nairobi. Anyone from Uasin Gishu and Nairobi counties? Anyone from Uasin Gishu and Prince, are you there?
Yes, you are here.
This is which university?
Yes.
Collins, this is which university?
This University of Eldoret was in Gishu County.
University. How many are you guys? I can see quite a number of students. How many are you?
You are currently 6.
Oh, you're currently, how many?
Currently, you are 6.
I can't hear you well, Collins. Okay, that is Uasin Gishu. Nairobi, are you there? Felix, Peter, Kambi, University of Nairobi. So University of Nairobi have not yet joined. So we have the different universities. will proceed. Mwaka, I hope you've noted that. Remember, we have the different universities that we have, and the roll call we've taken, we've been able to see Turkana University, Bomet University, Machakos University, Wasingishu, that is University of Eldoret, and now Nairobi, which has 0. I know they'll be joining, but we are saying that we'll be beginning exactly at 3 p.m. So ladies and gentlemen, without going to a lot of details and work, remember today we are looking at how do you start, run, and grow your business. And as I choose Life Africa, we are part of what we call, we are an ESO, we are an enterprise support organization. Now remember, we work with youths across different high schools, and we saw the model that we had of even the Turkana University student visiting one of the high schools. But also, we work with now university students, now you in this particular program. But at the end of the day, we work with businesses or people who are running businesses. As I choose Life Africa, we are part of what we call ASEC. This is an association of SME enablers in Kenya, and we're privileged to have our CEO, Engineer Mike Mutungi, who was recently chosen as the chairman of ASEC. So what does that mean? We are part of what we call an ESO, Enterprise Support Organization. Now we look at different businesses and we help them, we work with them, how they start, the ideation part, the initial part as they begin, how can they run their business, and how can they grow. Growth in terms of new markets across Africa. We are big advocates of intra-Africa trade. How do they start and just boom their business? So as I choose Life Africa, that is what we are doing. And in the next, even in our strategy, in the next 4 years, we'll be looking at growing businesses and even growing our capacity as an organization for the ESO work that we have. So ladies and gentlemen, today we are looking at entrepreneurship. So without giving you a lot of details, I'd like you to, on your university groups and on the chat box, I have posted a link, which again, this is not something new for most of you. It's called a baseline. And this is just to gauge in terms of, we have a 9-module session on entrepreneurship, whereby we look at ideation. Ideation is just basically your idea on a business. And the second one is about product and service development. Business is about a product or a service, and it's about the exchange of the selling of that product. So we have product and service development. We have IP, intellectual property. We have business model canvas. We have sales, marketing and branding. We have financial management, team composition and management, and then we have the other one is capital raising and pitching. So those are 8. There's probably one that maybe I've forgotten. Customer management. Yeah, so there are 9. So we usually have a 9-module of business enterprise sessions that we take people in business through. So we like for you to, it's either, last time Huber was here, I remember Huber from MasterCard, he focused on employment. For most of you who would like to get or go to the route of employment. Now today we'll be looking at how do you start, run and grow your business. That is entrepreneurship. And we'll be joined by our very own alumni who's in this space currently. He'll be telling us what he does. So we'll be sharing thoughts and it will be very interactive just for you to learn. Now I've posted a link on the chat box and on the different WhatsApp groups across the different universities. So I've been able to post that link. Kindly ensure that you have gone to that link and answered the set of questions that are there. There are not many questions. Again, it's on entrepreneurship. The reason and the purpose we do this is measuring where we are at as at now and what we need to do, or the program, is it having an impact in terms of what we are intervening. So kindly be very free. If you don't have a business or you've never done it, it's okay. Feel free to tell us that information. It is helpful to know where you are as far as businesses is concerned? Do you run a business right now in campus? Because I know there are several people who already are doing something on entrepreneurship, and they have a service, they have a product. I know comrades are very innovative. We also have the different products that we have. So kindly be very, very, very free to be able to fill that baseline. I will be telling you the university that is leading us as far as that is concerned. Already I have 31 responses. We are doing well, 32 right now. And the university that is leading is none other. Again, I can even project. Laikipia University is the one that is leading. So Mwaka, Laikipia, followed by Wasingishu, followed by Machakos, and then Nairobi. So we have 13 responses from Laikipia, Wasingishu. Turkana is the number last. No, none has filled. Turkana, Joseph, none has filled the baseline. So we'll be looking at it. So good job, team Laikipia. You can see they are leading as far as this is concerned. So let's continue filling in the baseline. We shall begin exactly at 3:30 with our guest facilitator, who is in this space of entrepreneurship. So we'll be able to hear and work on the same. So kindly, let's continue filling in the baseline. I'll be telling you which university is leading currently. We were at 32. Right now we are how many? 35. We're not doing well. Let me see which university is not doing well. I will be able to call them right now. Again, Laikipia is leading still, followed by Wasingishu, followed by Bomet. No, after Wasingishu is Machakos, then Bomet, then Nairobi. Is Nairobi here now? Felix and team, where are you guys? Peter, Felix, Kambi, and the team at the University of Nairobi. Let me hear you.
We just arrived.
Felix, how are you?
I'm good. We just arrived at UN and we are settling.
The sessions begin at 3 exactly. So we won't be taking that. You're not doing well as far as this is concerned. So Nairobi, pull up your socks. How many participants do we have?
Currently, we are 7.
We are 7. So yeah, we are not doing well. Let the 7 fill out the baseline. I can only see that we have only 3 that have filled from the data that I have, and it is live. So yeah, Felix, settle down, but let's do better. Thank you. That is Team Nairobi. Ladies and gentlemen, Niger today is not going to join. Those who know Niger is predominantly an Islam country, and we are in these seasons of Eid al-Fitr. I've been able to. It's Ramadan. Okay, I'm being told it's Ramadan. Thank you. It's not Eid al-Fitr. It's Ramadan. It's this season, so it's predominantly a Muslim or Islam-dominated country. So I've talked to Pastor Erastas. The different students have already closed and traveled. So that's why we probably won't have Niger today. But the recording, the good thing, I thank God for Pastor Rasta. This is recorded. He goes back and delivers the session and interprets it for the different teams. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Niger. So we are having the different universities, all of us now. County officers, please be taking roll call and the sign-up sheets for these sessions for ease of tracking. We are still behind. County officers ensure that each seal is filling in the baseline. If you're joining us not from the universities for any reason, the link is also copied on the chat box. So we'll be very keen to look at your responses also. So please fill in the baseline. We are so far at about 50 responses. Still, we need to up that. Remember, the sessions are beginning exactly, or will begin the session exactly at 3:30. So that is 3:30. And I'm being told from studio, our guest facilitator is around. So he is around, who will be taking us through entrepreneurship. How do you start, run, and finally grow your own business? And as I told you, we are so happy to be an enterprise support organization. That is an organization that supports the growth of enterprises, exposes them to opportunities through new markets, capital raising and pitching, and just opportunities. That's what we are doing to you here, but now as enterprises. So we are part of what we call an ESO and part of what we call ASEC, that is the association that brings together all ESOs in the country. And again, I told you, we are very privileged to have our own CEO leading or being the chairman of ASEC. So really what that means is we are at the forefront of supporting entrepreneurs in this country. So for you just to know, that is also what we do as I Choose Life Africa, in case you don't know. So we work a lot, of course, with high school, universities, and even our businesses across the different counties that we work around. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope we have filled the baseline. If you haven't, you should complete and ensure that you have filled the baseline so that it can be easy for you as we track this, as we track the different impact on the program. So, Laikipia University, before I welcome the guest facilitator, where is Laikipia University? Let me hear from Laikipia University. Ali and team, or James, they were walking to where you guys were. So, Ali and team, where are you guys?
Yes, Ian, we are fine.
Oh, you guys are fine. So I'd like to ask a question there at Laikipia University. And my question is very simple. Who, among the team that you have there, who runs a business or has started a business in campus?
Who has business?
I can see.
Yeah. There are about 3 of us.
About 3 of them. How many? I want to hear from one of them. Are you ready? Okay, I think as they prepare, I'll go on. So it's exactly 3:31. I'd like to bring this to a close as we begin the session. Thank you. I was doing the moderation to know who we have, how many we have, and the different roll call as I do this. But as I told you, today's session is quite exciting because this will be taken through by one of us. As I told you, he's an I Choose Life alumni. And one of the things as an organization that we stand for is mentorship. The person who will be taking us through this session was an I Choose Life staff and was leading this particular program. His name is Isaac Maweu. I hope you've seen the flyer all over. Isaac has done amazing things. But above all, let me brag about Isaac Kidogo. When I was entering I Choose Life Africa, he was the manager for this particular program. And Isaac left I Choose Life, but one thing I remember about him is mentorship. He's one of my very good friends and mentors. So I'm privileged and very humble to be bringing one of my mentors, who's Isaac, to take us through this session. He'll tell us what he has done and where he currently works. I will be doing an understatement if I did. So Isaac Mawe will be taking us through today's session on entrepreneurship. So ladies and gentlemen, settle in, continue or wind up filling the baseline as we change seats with Isaac and as he comes to continue the rest of the sessions. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll pray the intro again, but for 5 minutes as we transition for Isaac to come and take over. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Studio, you can play the intro as we change of shifts with Isaac. Thank you.
Good evening, SEALs. How are you? Wherever you are watching me, from Bomet to Turkana, which county? Nairobi. We have, which county have I not mentioned? Machakos, Uasin Gishu, my former county. I'm happy and privileged to be here today to take you through the session on entrepreneurship. My name is Isaac Maweu. I am currently the Wavumbuzi School liaison, but formerly the SEALS program manager. So it's good. It feels good to be home. I feel appreciated. I feel motivated to just come back and speak to you from wherever you are in your universities. Today's session, as mentioned by Ian, is around entrepreneurship. So to start us off, what is entrepreneurship? I want to hear from a few of you. What is entrepreneurship? And I can just allow me to put on my headphones so that I can hear you. What is entrepreneurship? Uasin Gishu. Yes, Bomet. I can see Bomet, your hand is up. Please go ahead and unmute.
So, entrepreneurship, I'm Kenyatta Ian from Bomet University. Entrepreneurship is the process of allocating enables an entrepreneur to start and run up.
Thank you. I can see Machakos University, your hand is up. So let's take it, Machakos.
Okay, entrepreneurship is identifying of opportunity.
Okay. Any last one? Let me see if there is anyone. Turukana, is anyone there? Turukana. Echwa. All right, thank you. So we will just go with those two reactions. So I've heard you well, loud and clear on what entrepreneurship is. But there's some key terms that I was looking for as you define entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship in itself is the ability to be able to identify. So you have to identify a problem, but besides that, you have to take calculated risk. And after taking the calculated risk, you have to come up with a product or a service that ultimately should have value, and at the end of it all, help you or enable you to also make profit. So in a nutshell, there's some key terminologies that we will be looking at when we define entrepreneurship. To my second question, who is your most favorite entrepreneur and why? So again, I'll listen to you. Who is your most favorite entrepreneur and why? Let me see if there is any hand up. Okay, Bomet University, your hand is up.
He was not only teaching us on what business is in books, but also did it in a practical way.
All right, your high school teacher is your entrepreneur that you look up to. There is a device that is mentioned, SAS. Maybe I can allow you to also go. And please rename yourself so that we are able to identify you. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Albert Mangwa from Bomet University. So my entrepreneur is Efrai Director here at Bomet University. They have briefly taught me, mentored me on how to pay to guiding me here and there. For example, Theo, head the youth course in Bomet University.
Right, thank you. Again, that is Bomet University. It seems like Bomet University is very active. I'm yet to hear about Laikipia. I'm yet to hear about Nairobi University. So please, let's engage. Let me pick Abubakar. Your hand is up. Who is your most favorite entrepreneur and why is he or she? Abubakar? If not, we can go to Team Wasingishu. I can see Beneza is ready with the people from Moi University, Eldoret. So over to you.
From University of Eldoret. I will say my most favorite entrepreneur is Elon Musk because he influences a lot of people. And very
Right, I lost you, but I heard that your favorite entrepreneur is Elon Musk. So thank you so much. So today I'm going to take you through the entrepreneurship journey from that idea that you have in your head all the way to market. So it's a process. And to help us in this, let me use the quote Mike likes using to use. Mike Mutungi, our CEO at I Choose Life Africa, used to tell us that example is not another way to teach. It is the only way to teach. So with me in studio today is an entrepreneur. She will tell us more about herself. And I hope you'll be able to get a lot from our conversation with her. So if you have any question, let me know, put it on the chat. I will be able to take the questions as they come. But most importantly, I hope from this conversation, from this session today, you will be able to be confident enough for you to turn that idea that you have today into commercialization, into an idea, into a service or a product, and how you'll also get into the market. So allow me, ladies and gentlemen, from wherever you're watching me at, to invite our entrepreneur in the room. Okay. So our guests in the room, I hope you can be able to see her, is a lady. And we want to also see what's the space of women, what's the space of our ladies in entrepreneurship. Her name is Priscilla, but she'll tell us more about her company, and what she does. Over to you, Priscilla.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Isaac. My name is Priscilla Wakarera. I am the CEO at RIA. RIA is a soil health management company that is based out of Nairobi that serves very smallholder farmers that are located in Kenya and also in Tanzania.
Thank you. So, into the first stage. So Ian, before he left, he mentioned to us about the different stages. He mentioned about ideation, he mentioned about market research, mentioned about prototyping, which will come into it. But I just want to start us off. What inspired you to start your business? And how were you able to even identify the problem that you wanted to solve?
So my inspiration for starting my business came was accidental. So I was working on research on soil health improvement and realized that there was a really big problem that the smallholder farmers were facing in rural areas. And I identified that problem as an opportunity that could create a business that could be very beneficial to farmers. So we worked around seeing if we can create a product that could solve the problem. So the problem that we found was that a majority of farmers were not conducting soil testing in rural areas, and they would just buy fertilizer based on what's on subsidy or what they can afford for that moment. And what this would do is it led to a lot of soil degradation. And then with the issue of global warming currently, it makes the bigger problem in terms of making sure that we have enough food to feed their families, but also to feed the local community. And we found that majority of them were not conducting soil testing because they did not have access to the service, or they did not even know that it was something that they required to do.
Excellent. I'm just here wondering, I'm in the university, at University of Eldoret, or Turkana University, or even Bomet University, and I'm wondering, I have so many ideas. At what point did you say, this is what I want to go for? At what point? Were you convinced that amidst the many ideas that you have, this was the correct idea that you wanted to go with?
So it was actually at the Kenyatta University.
Oh, awesome.
When I got the idea. It was, I was working on my project, and the reason that I thought that this was the best idea is because, one, it was already in the field that I already had expertise in the sciences, and also I had a great passion for smallholder farmers and solving problems for smallholder farmers. And by identifying this as a critical area that, one, I was passionate about, but I was also skilled in, I thought that this idea would be easier for me, or would place me as the best person to execute it, because I had those two advantages.
So what is that to say to you who is still in university? It means whatever you do at the university has the potential of scaling out to something bigger if you are attentive to it. So if you have that idea, don't kill it. Don't kill it. Just try to brainstorm. And Priscilla, who is the CEO and co-founder of RARE, has just mentioned that to us. So another question, which I know my wonderful and amazing SEALs have for you. How did you validate that there was a demand, that people were not actually doing the soil testing? Because one of the processes when we look at business and enterprise development, when you want to develop an enterprise, one of the things that you have to look at is market and research. So tell me, Priscilla, how did you validate that there was indeed a demand for what you wanted to bring into the market?
Yeah, so it was actually interesting, and validation is very important. And when we experienced this problem, it was actually a problem that I experienced personally while trying to conduct soil analysis. So collection of the sample process was long, sending the sample to the lab took time, and by the time we got the results, I actually needed to pay someone to help me interpret those results. So the question there was, is this a problem that only Priscilla was facing, or was this a problem that other smallholder farmers were facing? So we embarked on market research, and including the market research involved visiting actual farmers and asking them, gauging their knowledge on soil health, on the importance of soil testing, if they are aware of places that they could go and do soil testing in, and then also understanding what particular challenges they had faced and how big the challenges they had faced were, but also was this challenge big enough for them to have a willingness to pay to have it solved. So during our validation phase, we conducted research in Kenya and also in Rwanda. I was in Rwanda at the time. And we established that it was really a big problem that was affecting farmers in both countries and affecting them at the same magnitude.
Amazing. And that, if you're a SEAL and you're watching me from wherever you are in the corners of this country, so if you have this brilliant idea and you want to test it, what I'm getting from Priscilla here is you have to go and actually listen. Yeah. What do people want? Don't bring something that people already, or something, a product or a service that people are not in need of. You have to conduct your market research to understand your customers, what they need, and then with that, you can use it to enhance your service or the product or the idea that you have. So if you are thinking about starting out a business, don't just wake up and start because everybody is operating an M-Pesa shop in the university. Take your time to understand. Ask people, besides me conducting, have you accessing an M-Pesa shop, what else can I add? I know comrades normally do printing. They want a place to do something extra. So just understand your customers and make that the basis of forming your product or your services. I hope that's what we were getting. Yeah. And it's not like you are the only person in the market, Priscilla. How do you, what makes your product unique, or how are you going to develop this idea that you have into uniqueness. People are already thinking about it. I'm sure we already have some soil testing equipment. What makes it different? Or how do you ensure that your product or your service is unique from whatever is already in the market?
I think the first step is really directly tied into analyzing the competitive landscape. So you have this bright idea, you've already gone to market, you've validated that other people are also facing this problem, but then you also need to figure out what's already in the market. And then after identifying what's already in the market, talk back to your users or your customers and identify how comes what is already in the market is not serving their need. Because if the need is still there, clearly what is in the market is not catering to those needs exactly. And then the response they give you is what helps you tailor what is unique about your particular product. So for example, in our case, what we found is that we did have conventional soil testing labs, but these soil testing labs are fixed into specific locations. They're expensive to set up, so you don't have too many spread across the country. And then additionally, you still had to send your samples in, and the process of soil testing would take time. So with that, you have a long distance to send the samples. That you don't know where they're located because they're few. And then also once the sample gets there, it takes a long time. And then we evaluated and found that we decided we're going to build a portable device that is more accessible and it is closer to where the farmers are. And we looked at the competitive landscape and wanted to understand, is there a competitor already doing this? So we found that there was one, but the challenge with the competition here is that the price point was very high. So when you look at the smallholder farmers, they could not access it because of the price barrier. And then also because of the complication in how the devices are, you needed very skilled technical personnel to utilize them. And because of the upfront barrier in the cost, it was hard for them to be located very close to the rural areas and to have them spread across. So we went back to our drawing board and we said, okay, so we need to solve the problem of timeliness. Make sure that the soil testing results are done very quickly. And then we also need to solve for the process of access. Access is in two ways: ability to bring it to where the farmers are, making it portable, but also access in having a price point that makes adoption easier. So we decided to build our own devices locally in Kenya using world-class technologies that meet the global market requirement. But then because we're able to build them here, we're able to sell them at an affordable price point.
So Priscilla, someone is out there and they're saying, nilikuwa nataka kuanza biashara ya kuuza sweet. Because we are looking at a person who is in the university. Maybe they want to open up even a small small chap place where wanauza sausage, wanachapa mayai and everything. They have tried one, it has failed. They have tried the other, it has failed. Is there a point in the second phase of enterprise development, which is market research and validation? Was there a point where you had to pause and listen based on the feedback that you were getting from your clients or from the customers? You had to pause and actually take their input before you proceeded. Because if you proceeded without their input, your service or your product is going to fail. So for that university student listening to us today, who has tried out many things and has failed, what is your word for them in terms of them understanding the market and the customers?
Yeah, so as a university student as well, so I started this entrepreneurship a long time ago. Yeah. And I failed at multiple businesses at university level, and for various reasons. Yes. I think you fail because either you don't have the right skills for that particular business. I started a salon and I had to employ people to do hair and I couldn't do hair. So on the days that I'm not there, then we would get no revenue. And then in a different way, you find that what you're offering as the product, the market has evolved. So nobody's buying from you and they're buying from somebody who has brought it earlier. So by carrying these failures and failing points as lessons into this particular business, the one thing that we knew for sure when we were setting up RIA is that we needed to build for our customer, with our customer, and that's one of the things that all of us embody, which is build your product or offer your service together with your customers, whereby if you add one new feature to your product, then you go out to market and you ask the market, is this what you want? If it's not what you want, go back, remove it, add something else, go back and add another one. So which is entrepreneurship is a continuous process of iteration. And that's how we've been able to evolve. We built our first prototype, and then we built basic features, took it to market, built a second prototype. The market said no, maybe, and then we took it back to the market and aligned it, and then now we are in the current final product that we are very sure once it starts scaling and going to other regions, we will need to keep improving on, because there's really no end point into tailoring your product to what the customer needs are.
Absolutely. And I love that. I love that. So, sales. Najua mnanisikiza. So far we've covered 2 steps. We've covered the step on ideation. So when you look at enterprise development, we've covered the aspect of ideation. We've also covered the aspect of market research and validation, because you have to get validation for your product to work, as you've told us. And you've mentioned something about prototype, which is the 3rd step, which I want us to also talk about. So how did, what was your, I can see you have 2 devices, and I'm sure one is not a phone, even though it has buttons. So what was your first prototype of your product? How was it like? And how has it evolved over time? How was it like? Do you have it here, or can you paint a picture of how it was?
Yes, so we manufacture on-site soil analysis devices. So it's a sensor-powered device that allows for the collection of soil data at the farm level. And then our initial prototype, we only built a device that had sensors, and the sensors could collect the soil data, and it has a screen, and you could just read the soil data from the screen.
Okay.
So what that allowed us to validate is that the sensors work in the way that we need them to work. We validated that they can collect soil data, and you can read the soil data. We validated that the soil data collected was correct, and then now that a farmer could utilize it. The second phase of our prototyping was integration. So look, remember we're trying to solve for timeliness and access.
Yes.
So remembering those key things, we needed to add an aspect of speed. So now we are able to collect the soil data and read it on a screen, but we needed to have an agronomist in the office, then calculate and give recommendations. So this would take a day, if there are many samples, 2 or 3 days.
Yes.
So we went and built our second prototype. Now we added an aspect of IoT. So IoT is Internet of Things, and what it does is it allows you to send data from a specific set location to another location using a mobile network. So by incorporating IoT into that device, it could now read the soil data. You could read it on a screen, and then you could send it to the person in the office. So what this meant is the person at the farm could get the results and the report before they leave the farm on the same day. So now it would take between 30 minutes to an hour or 2 hours, or even 3 or 4 hours, depending on the bulk number of results. So we decided, okay, we're able to solve that and we're transmitting the data. But what if we could create a product that allows farmers to then receive the data at the farm immediately? So what we did is we built the current version of the devices that we have, a second version of the devices that we have, not the current one. And with that, what we wanted to have is you're able to read the soil data. You can see it on a screen. You can send it. We built an AI software that was automatically generating from this data a report. So now you could then download the report at the farm level. And it was an easy-to-use device. But then we decided now we can take it to market. But then because it was a very rough, you build, so we have a slogan, we say, make something now, and then you can make it better later.
Yes.
So we had made a rough device. So once we took it to other people, we needed to train them more on how to use it, and it was harder for them to understand how to utilize it. So now this is the second phase. You validated functionality, you have validated meeting your value proposition, and then you need to start validating and improving on aesthetics, making a product meet the quality of other products in the market. So we built this particular device.
Awesome.
Yes.
Can I have a look at it?
Yes.
So this is the soil testing devices.
Yes, so that's the soil testing device.
So the first one is the one that you are telling us it was bulky.
Yes, so I didn't bring it because it's
see
very
here,
heavy.
my seals.
Yes.
Yes, you can see it's something that it's actually tangible, it's working, it has their logo, it has everything.
Yes.
So, Priscilla, a university seal watching you today over there might have tried something, but because the demands of the clients supersede what they are able to do. I want you to tell us, how do you balance innovation? You've mentioned it.
Yes.
Clients want this, clients want that, from many days of getting data to actually instant or on the, what you've said, on the ground data.
Yes. Yes.
So you've killed on time, which is one of the things that the farmers wanted. So how do you balance innovation with customer preferences? So you'll find this customer has this, some of the things that they are requesting are outrageous, or you can't cope up, or they are not practical. So how do you balance innovation with what the customers want?
So what we've seen that works is, in terms of balancing, is validating if a customer has preference for something. Like, for example, when we decided to make these devices, the reason we made them is because we would get agronomists asking, can we purchase the device? Can we use the device ourselves? So now it was a secondary person aside from our initial RIA staff that needed to use it. So now we needed to make a device that was usable by a third party. But then, before we committed to making this particular device and making it in a way that somebody can either buy it and use it themselves, or can lease it and have it as something that they use, we needed to validate that there are other people that have the same type of interest. So we ran market research again. So you do market research multiple times to establish that there was really a demand for that particular feature. And then for the features that we had added that we realized from the market were not as needed as we had initially thought in office, we removed them. Because what it does is, if you remove it, then you're able to reduce on your costs of production that allow you to add new features. But before you incorporate feedback or preferences from your customers, you need to validate that a larger group of customers are interested in this particular one and not just one person.
Thanks. I want us to go to the conversation about money.
Yes.
So, Seals, if you are listening to me, that is the third step of enterprise development, which involves a lot of prototyping. Yes. So as Rhea has said, it involves a lot of going to the market, improving, collecting feedback, improving on it, until when you have a product or a service that has both your and the customer input. There is this question about money. Wale ni comrades.
Yeah.
Maybe they are still struggling with the finances, the small that they get and even pump into their businesses. Sometimes it becomes difficult. Tell us, how do you finance, or how did you finance the initial phases of your product? The early stages.
The early stages. Yes. So there are multiple ways to finance your product or to finance your business when you're starting out. I think before, because I've gone through multiple phases. So there's a section where you do bootstrapping. So what bootstrapping is you save up, and then the little money that you have, it's your pocket money, then you're able to set up a business. So I remember I did this a lot while I was a university student. And sometimes it has very great limits. But then what I also realized is that there's a large community there's a large network of entrepreneurship support organizations. And what they do is they will equip you with the skills that you have, that you can have for entrepreneurship. They will give you different types of skills that you can utilize based off your original skills to build. And during the time after I had already identified the problem, I had already a small semblance of what a solution should be. I was lucky enough to have to get the opportunity to join a program. So it's the Jasiri Talent Investor Program.
Yes.
And within that program, you go through modules on how to do ideation better, how to do your market research better, and you have a support system around that. And we got our first grant to build our first prototype. So the first grant to build a small prototype and to do market research is small, but how you utilize it is what really matters. So you need to have a great balance on how much do we spend on the market research and then how much do we spend on the first prototype. And in our case, and in most cases, even for other types of businesses, even if you want to set up a shop as a business, is you start with the basic features and the bare minimum features that allow your product to function. And what this means is you don't go extravagant, right? So you do, what can I get at the local level? What do I need without importing a single thing? What do I need without getting too many skilled personnel that are expensive? And you build the first version of it and you confirm that it works. And when it works, then you can move into the next version after you've already talked to your customers. And in our case, I remember I built the first, we always joke about this because I built the first version of our devices myself in the bedroom, and it was really just a bunch of wires that are connected to each other, and we would sellotape the wires together so they won't come off, and have a bowl that I used to use for food, and then we'll put soil in and add a bit of water and then put the sensors in and have your laptop and have the readings on the laptop that we have. So that whole setup essentially would have cost, cost me about 3,000 Kenya shillings in terms of the initial setup. But what it validated was the idea that I had in my head was now on paper, but now it was off paper and it was something tangible that is actually happening.
Yes.
Before you can actually establish that, you don't want to spend too much money on it, because if you end up spending all the money that you had and now you're broke, it destroys your morale. And then if you have your morale destroyed, then you won't really have an interest in building.
I love that. I love that. And it's a challenge I think we can all take. Regardless of where you are, if you have 1,000, that is enough capital. Depending on the idea that you have, you can always start somewhere. If Priscilla was able to build the first prototype, or even, let me not say a prototype, if he was able to translate her idea into something within her bedroom, right? With 3,000, which would have cost her 3,000 shilling. And how much is it now? How much do you sell this product for now?
So now we sell this particular device for $1,000. So in Kenya it's 128,000.
Imagine what she would have used 3,000 is now 120,000 Kenyan shillings today as we speak. Yeah. So, comrades out there, and sales, you are advantaged. Let me say why you are advantaged. Because I Choose Life Africa has a program that is called the Jinue Business Accelerator. In the Jinue Business Accelerator, it's one of the programs that you can actually seriously take so that you can grow your entrepreneurship skills. It offers everything that Priscilla has just mentioned to us. If you want to know how can I bring what we call the business model canvas, the different aspects, how can I remove myself from ideation, who are my competitors, how can I raise resources, and the rest. But Priscilla, comrades have one behavior sometime. Wengine wanapenda kubet. Najua kuna watu wa Manchester na Arsenal, na Chelsea na Liverpool hapa kwa room, na wananiangalia na wanacheka. I know they love betting, and I know sometimes they can have the resources. You can tell them, they set aside 1,000 or 2,000 for capital. They'll tell you they don't have. But when it comes to betting or using money, they'll always find some money somewhere. So what mistakes can you tell these young people today to avoid, especially when looking for funding? Because some of them wanasema naekelea hii bet ikiivana nitapata do nianze biashara. So what is your advice to them when it comes to sourcing for funding or looking for funding?
I think my advice would be to start now and to start with what you have. So if you have 1,000 Kenya shillings, if you have 100 Kenya shillings, and it can buy you data, buy that data, look up the process of setting up that business. Tomorrow, if you have 200 Kenya shillings, just do it in an incremental way. And this is also something that we discuss with young entrepreneurs that are coming up. And it ties directly into, okay, I'm looking at this from the perspective of, I don't have bulk amount of money.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that I'll appeal to a few organizations and maybe they'll give me 10,000 Kenya shillings or 20,000 Kenya shillings, and that's when I'll start. But the same way you're waiting for bet yako ivane.
Yes.
But even ata ikiivana, you need to be prepared for it. And preparation really involves having taken the initial steps around setting it up. So for example, if somebody lands and gives you 100,000 Kenya shillings today, what have you done such that that 100,000 Kenya shillings won't go to waste as you're speculating on how do I spend it? So you end up realizing, okay, so I want to set up a shop. You've been given 100,000 Kenya shillings, but because you hadn't really made a plan, you'll go and start renting a shop for 10,000 Kenya shillings. And before you even decide on how to design the shop or how to stock the shop or who to sell it to, you've already gone through 3 or 4 months of rent. So 40,000 Kenya shillings has already gone, but you've not received a single customer because you're planning when it's, I think it's an African proverb. I don't know if it's an African proverb, but I think my mother used to say it a lot.
Which one is it?
Yeah.
We'd like to know.
So it was around, okay, now I'm remembering the English version of it. The Swahili version has disappeared. The English version of it is you make hay while the sun shines. So you don't wait for the opportunity to come for you to start preparing. So you start preparing earlier. So we have a lot of people in university right now that have some technical skills. For example, somebody is in IT. They know how to do coding, but they're waiting for the day they'll get employed so they can code for another organization. So right now, what are some solutions that you can start coding by yourself at your free time that by the time you're finishing university, you could already have a product that you've validated with other students in the university so that when you come and see someone like Isaac and you say, this is what I have, this is what I've built. How can you get me from step 5 to step 100 as opposed to coming and asking someone, you know, I'm at 0. Can you get me to step 1? Because the 0 to 1 is the hardest bit. And the 0 to 1 is the ideation, the market research, the coming up with different ideas on how you can improve something and make something work. So that once the support is coming in, you as a person are already prepared for it. Yeah, so that's hiyo ndo bet yako ishaivana.
So tumewapatia trick ya kuivisha bet. So badala ya kuwekelea bet pale kwa hizo sites zenu, this is the best place. Don't wait. Start today. Start with what you have. Start now. When money comes, when resources come, they'll find you somewhere. But it's not like you're starting from scratch.
Yeah, and then also, Isaac, banking on yourself is the sure bet.
Banking on... Hey! Today we will leave this place with a lot of quotes. Banking on yourself is the most surest bet. So believe in yourself, do all those market research, start now. And that takes us to the next stage in enterprise development, and which is about scaling up, going to market. But before we talk about going to market, also another place, I know I Choose Life has the Jinue product that can actually give you access to finance, and you can also boost your business. Reach out to your county managers, reach out to Ian, the sales program manager, and they can be able to guide you on how you can be able to access this finance, the capital, for you to start dreaming. Turn that dream into something today. Now, when we go about scaling up, you've mentioned to us, I think at some point I heard you mention about Kenya, Tanzania, and the rest. What strategies did you use to launch your product? To successfully launch your product?
So we use multiple strategies.
Yes.
So the interesting thing about a business and going to market is there's no cheat sheet for it.
Yes.
So there is no book that you're going to buy off the street that tells you this is the best way for you to take your business to market. And there's no coach or mentor that will tell you this is the best way to launch to market, because your market, your product creates its own market, and the market around it builds around itself. So we tried multiple ways of going into market. And one of the ones that we tried was attending farmers' field days, where you meet a group of farmers and you tell them about your product and you talk to them about it. We also have done a lot of online and social media marketing that has allowed us to reach farmers that are outside of our current region. We've also worked very hard to secure partnerships, and these partnerships then open us up to reaching the farmers that those organizations have. And what is most interesting about your question is that there really is no good answer to that question. It's you take your product and then you study the market response. So we found that we have very high conversion from farmers' field days. We also have high conversions from partners. We've also seen that we are able to reach regions across the country from social media because it spreads across. And then social media has also allowed us to get interest even outside of East Africa and into West Africa. And how we were able to scale locally is by those tiny partnerships. So currently we partner with agro input shops, which are like agrovets, and then we lease out this device to them. And then the agrovets then conduct soil testing for the farmers. And this is one of the channels that we use to reaching our farmers. We also work with agronomists, and the agronomists list the device, and then the agronomists will walk from farm to farm serving their clients. Additionally, in terms of another channel that we use is with the partner organizations. So for example, we partner with other businesses that provide services to smallholder farmers. For example, our entry into Tanzania is through one of those partnerships. We supply them with the devices, they conduct soil analysis for the farmers there. And we have found that by leveraging those three key things, reaching the farmers where they are through the farmers' field days, reaching the farmers online through digital and social media marketing, and then also by reaching farmers through partners, this has allowed us to scale. But then when you think about it from a small level, if you're just setting up a small shop in an area, using different types of physical marketing materials like flyers and brochures, sending broadcast messages, talking to people, because people don't know about you unless you're talking about what you do to the people.
Thank you. And that makes me go to the next part of it. So you are there, you have a product, you have a service. It could be a service as simple as printing, printing for your fellow comrades, right? There is a question that people, especially for first time, people who want to venture into entrepreneurship, there is this fear of who will buy my product, who will buy my service. So tell us about your experience. How did you get to onboard your first customer? And then how has that journey been over time?
Okay, so that's a very sentimental question. So essentially, so let me just paint this picture. So you can see this product.
Yes.
So you've seen this product,
Yes.
right? So this is a product that people haven't seen before. And it's a product because it's in soil testing. It's a service that people don't generally do. So we've put in a lot of work and we've built our first prototype. And one of the key things we needed to validate, so in terms of validation, there are also different levels of validation, right? So when we built the simplest form of our prototype, the first thing we needed to validate is that people would accept that we come to their farms and connect our device to their soil and collect the data from their soil. So once we had established that there was willingness for us to use our devices on the farms, we then validated there was willingness for the farmers to pay. And this is also where it gets interesting in entrepreneurship. Sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. So we were in Rwanda and they validated, farmers were willing to have us come to their farms. They were willing to have us test their soil. But then when it came to validating whether they were willing to pay, the farmers in Rwanda were not willing to pay.
So that's
at that
a challenge.
time. Yeah. So we came up and we're like, okay, so in Kenya shillings, we were like, okay, you guys can pay 100 bob. I will come to your farm that's very far. I will come all the way. I will come to your farm. I will do the analysis. I will give you the report, and it's only 100 bob. And they said no. We said, okay, it's only 50 bob. And they said no. So now what did we do? We studied the market dynamics in the two countries. And what we knew for sure is that the market dynamics are different, right? So we moved to Kenya now, and we wanted to do the same exact thing. So we validated the farmers were allowing us to come to their farm with a device. But then we also validated that they were willing to pay. So the very first farmer that we served, and it's interesting because you remember the first pitch that you ever did to a farmer, and you always remember the first money you got paid and what you did with it. And it's mostly not good things, but you always remember that. So we remember I went to a farm and we told the farmers that this is a device. We have come in, we just came from Rwanda and would like to do soil testing on your farm. And this is how much we're charging. So at that point, for a single soil test, we were charging 1,500 Kenyan shillings. Now remember, we just came from asking people to pay 50 shillings and they said no. So in Kenya, we said we'll start at 1,500. And then if they say no, we'll do 1,000. and then we'll start scaling it down. And when we said 1,500, I remember the farmer said, okay, I have 3 acres, so that's 3 samples. So it's like, okay, that will be 4,500. And they said, and I said, okay, so when would you like it done? They said, do it right now. And I had a receipt. I had a receipt book that I had just printed. It was brand new. It was receipt number 001. And we wrote the 4,500.
Yes.
And we had also just set up the pay bill number. So we didn't really have a pay bill number, but a till number, but we had a pay bill number, which is we had a bank account that said RIA as the company name, but we used how you can use the pay bill from the bank, and we gave them that. And when they validated that the payment has gone to a company and they could trust us at that point, then they said, do the soil testing. So we did the soil testing, we got the 4,500 and went and bought myself a soda. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. To celebrate. Let's celebrate Priscilla. I think that's quite motivating. And if you are out there, you must have picked a few things from what Priscilla was sharing to us. Imagine her first sale was 4,500. Today, how much do you make? Averagely. Don't. I know you're a millionaire.
So no, we don't. So we make well over 4,500 in a month.
In a month?
Yeah.
An approximate figure. Just give us a figure.
So just as an approximate
figure. Yes, an approximate. It's not what they make, but close to that.
Yeah, close to that. Yeah. So we could say maybe close to that because we're coming to the end of this month.
Yes.
So we're making well over 500,000 a month.
Imagine. What is stopping you today? Even if you make a profit of 100, in the next few years, you'll be making profits of up to 100,000. So sales, wherever you are, I think your story is quite encouraging. Challenges as an entrepreneur, you will always come across challenges. And when you talk about going to market and even scaling up, you must identify the avenues. If you have a product or if you have a service and it's only you who knows about it, it will not go, it will not sell. Wake up, move, go there. Put it, TikTok is there. TikTok is there for us. Go to TikTok, make it public. People will buy. Use the available platforms to push your product, to push your service. Now, as we come to the end of our conversations, the last, not the last, but the second last step on enterprise development, which specifically talks about profitability and business sustainability. I know now you've grown. You are all alone. Now you have a team, and you have expenses. You have to travel. You have to meet farmers. So tell us, at what point did you start making? How long after you prototyped? How long did you start making profit? What we normally call breaking even, and then tied into that is how do you continuously how do you put yourself in the market? Because sometimes if you do not balance your expenses, you might end up getting out of business because what you are spending is actually more or far away than what you are making. So at what point did you break even, and then how do you put yourself afloat?
So I think one of the key things you learn about running a business, you learn while you're running a business, is that for you to get to the next stage, you're going to have to spend. So, and one of the key things that I learned from setting up regular biasharas, if I could call them, is that sometimes you find that your expenses are more than your revenues. And usually what happens is if your expenses are consistently above your revenues, then your business is not going to survive. So like, for example, in most cases, you find that, for example, in a month, the amount of revenue you're generating, you're not able to pay your staff, or you're not able to replenish your inventory. And this then leads to the business collapse. But there are ways for you to track this and make sure that this doesn't happen. And one of the key ways that we employ is by making sure that all the revenues that come into the business are well logged. I think we've talked to a few.
Record keeping.
So record keeping. So for regular businesses, we always recommend using Excel. So Excel is the cheapest. It's not the easiest to use, but you learn ways for you to have very good record keeping. If you're able to keep a record of all the expenses and all the revenues that are coming in, then you're able to track this over time. Another thing that you find is making sure that your overheads are not too many. So for example, if you realize that you're moving from point A to point B and it's becoming 1,000 Kenya shillings because you're using an Uber, is there a cheaper mode of transport that you can use that will make sure that these overheads are lower? If, for example, you've opened up a shop in a location and the rent is very high, but if you look at a different location, you can manage cheaper rent and you can still serve the same clientele. Always go for what's more affordable when you're starting out. You can always scale to something bigger as your company grows. I think for us, in terms of how long it takes for you to achieve profitability, I think because businesses are different. So for us, because it's a startup, it has taken us a long time. And we talk about how a business grows. So there's a graph on how a business grows. And allow me to describe the graph.
Go ahead.
So you've come up with your idea and you're thinking this idea is great. And I'm going to tell everybody about it. And what you do is you come up, we've built our first prototype, we've gone to market. People think this is great, right? So we've started running it, and then so it's my co-founder and I, we're just the two of us, there's no one else. We go out, we do the soil testing, we come, we do the accounting, we're doing everything in the business. And then we realize that we need to have more staff. So we add more people into the business, but then we're still also going out doing the business. And as you're getting more staff, as you're reaching more areas, so are your expenses and your costs. And there's a section that we love in entrepreneurship, and it's called the valley of death. So every business goes through the valley of death. For a regular business, for example, you've started a salon, you've started a shop, the valley of death comes at around 4 months. And the reason there's a specific set month for it is because you already had an initial capital. And what your initial capital does is it pushes you through the first month and the second month. And then the third month and the fourth month is the hype month, where you have so many people around you. It's you've set up a new salon. It's so beautiful. It has beautiful lights. Everybody wants to try it for the first time. And what happens after the very first time, the craze ends.
Fades.
Yeah.
It fades.
So you become pop. It's 15 minutes of fame, right? It's the TikTok fame right now. It's everybody knows you, everybody loves you, and then it sinks.
Yes.
So for a business to survive, and the businesses that do really well, is when you go through your valley of death, the decisions that you make at that point are what will determine how quickly you become profitable. And some of the key decisions will involve, why did we get into the valley of death? Is it because our rent is unsustainable? Is it because our staff are not providing the right type of service? It's because me, as the owner of the business, I'm not offering the service in a way that customers go and want to come back. So you reevaluate the business and you set up these strategies of how do we realign at this section. Once you have cracked that, it's usually an upward trajectory. So in a business, you'll have multiple valleys of death, but you can prolong the period between one valley of death to the next one. And the second one is because of competition. And the third one is because people are already too bored by your product and you need to improve. So that also ties into how do you continuously innovate in your business to keep things exciting.
I think that's a good point in terms of how do you constantly innovate. If you look at M-Pesa, the story of M-Pesa, M-Pesa has constantly been evolving.
Yes.
So initially we didn't have Fuliza.
No.
They realized, people like wanapenda kukopa sana.
Yes, I know.
So comrade akiwa pale akifuliza anakuwa sorted. They brought in that aspect of it. And many more features have keep on coming. And I agree with you that innovativeness in your business, in your service, is what will keep you in the market. Now, sales, I want you to reflect. There is what we call the business model canvas. And we've essentially covered through the different aspects of the business model canvas. So your county managers will organize and provide you with what we call the business model canvas. I want you to go and reflect on that idea that you have, taking the different sections that are there to just understand where do you stand in terms of that business idea that you have. But you could already be in business. You could already be selling some smocha, supplying some goods somewhere. Try position yourself. And as we come to the end of this particular session and invite Ian back, I want to ask you, is it two or three questions to this particular young sales? Then we will allow you to also react. So shortly, I will be welcoming you to ask questions, to ask Priscilla questions, so that we can be able to learn from one another. And the first question that I want to ask you, what is the biggest myth about entrepreneurship that these sales need to know? Unajua kuna mtu anasemanga, the only way to make it in life, kuwa entrepreneur, and you will make it in life. Is it a myth, or what other myths are out there about entrepreneurship? Is it a make rich, what do we call it? Get rich quick sort of schemes?
Yeah, so I'll do 3.
Yes.
I'll do 3 because I think about them a lot, sometimes because I also believed them at some point. So the first one is entrepreneurship is not a get rich quick scheme.
Okay.
It
So that is
takes
clear.
a long time. So we do have entrepreneurs that are, somebody said that their favorite entrepreneur is Elon Musk.
Yes.
And it's very easy to look at Elon Musk and check what his valuation is and say, I don't even know how much money that is if you asked me to actually quantify it. If we convert it into Kenya shillings, we don't even know how much, what the word for it is, because people are in billions. And it takes a long time to get there. And it's not a get rich quick scheme. It takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of sweat, it takes a lot of sleepless nights. It takes a lot of crying sometimes. And it also takes a lot of resources as well. So you're going to, if you're bootstrapping, you're going to have to recommit all the profit that you're getting back into the business so that the business can keep growing by itself.
Yes.
So that was one. I thought I'd be a billionaire by now. We had that I Want to Be a Billionaire song that we used to sing a lot. So we used to sing that a lot. We also, the second one is that you have more, I want to become an entrepreneur, so I won't have to do a 9 to 5.
Yes.
I don't want to be employed. I don't want someone telling me what to do.
What we call be my own boss.
Yes, I want to be my own boss.
Be your own boss.
Yes.
Nobody tells me what time to wake up. I will wake up whatever time I want.
Yeah, and part of it is true, because sometimes you can wake up whatever time you want. but in reality, it actually, the reason you're waking up whatever time you want is because you also slept whatever time you want. So you don't do a 9 to 5, it becomes a 24 hours thing. And the reason it becomes, you're always working on your business constantly. So like, for example, for us, you'll come into the office at 8, and then there's 5. So the staff that come in, the employees will come in at 8, and then when it's 5 minutes to 5, they're on their way out. But for me, I have to be left behind because there are also other things that you need to manage. Now that we work in a Pan-African way, you're managing people in different time zones. So when it's 5 p.m. in Nairobi, it's not 5 p.m. in Lagos. It's also not 5 p.m. in another continent. So you have to manage all these people in their own time zones as well. And then you're also doing it constantly. After you leave work, you go home, you have work. Because you don't really ever have the right time, and that's why we talk a lot about work-life balance, but also you end up working more than you would have worked for the 9 to 5. So when you go to sleep, you think you're going to sleep well, your business doesn't stop, it starts working now in your brain. So all the problems that you had today, at night when you're sleeping, that's when your brain decides today we have solutions. Mm-hmm. So they start solving it. So tomorrow when you wake up, when you show up to work and somebody asks, how did you figure that out? It's like, I figured it out in a dream. But it's hard to tell someone. But as an entrepreneur, you're always constantly thinking about your business. You're always constantly working on your business. So the 9 to 5 is, when you're an entrepreneur, you're like, hey, that might be nice. It actually might be nice to have a 9 to 5. But if you're passionate about entrepreneurship, you know that the 9 to 5 will not fulfill you. You'll not feel as fulfilled as you would when you are dedicating more hours and you're more tired, and at some point in the future, one day, even maybe for your grandchildren, it will pay off.
Yeah.
The third one, and we used to get this a lot, especially when I was in high school, we used to say this with a snacky tone to our teachers, and it used to be like, Bill Gates is a school dropout. So there's a myth around you can make it in entrepreneurship without education. Yes, you don't have even what's his name? Even Bill Gates, even Elon Musk, even the Meta, Facebook. Forgetting his name. I know his wife's name is Priscilla. for some reason, my brain has said you will not remember Zuckerberg. Yeah, you'll not remember. Even him, he's a dropout, yes. Right? But what these people's stories don't tell you is that, one, these people dropped off in university after building a product that they validated was working before they dropped out. They didn't drop out in high school. They didn't not enter a university. If you look at the type of universities these people dropped out of, even getting in is a dream, because the threshold for your pass mark is so high that you needed to have been excellent to have gotten in before they could drop off. And then something else, these people, they tell you they dropped off. They don't tell you about all the other multiple courses and additional skills that they learn after that. And then also at that, another thing that they also don't tell you is that most of these people did not come from our geography. They did not come from our African economy, where you have to build and support there's black tax. There's also building yourself within a landscape that's not fully developed in a developing nation. These people had, somebody made a joke recently and they said that they started their businesses out of a garage, and we don't even have a garage to start our businesses out of. So they had privileges that we are currently not accorded. So we have to work 10 times or even 100 times as hard as they had to work out of. I also had a meeting for International Women's Day, and we were just a group of women discussing what privileges other founders have that maybe us founders in Africa and even as women, we do not have privileges for. And some of that involved, one, as women, we don't have title deeds where we can go take out money from the bank. Some of us don't even get inheritance because we're women and we're African. But also, the thing is, some of them, they got their initial seed funding from their friends, from their family members, from their family doctor. How many of us even have a family doctor that you can call and ask, hi, can you send me 1 million Kenya shillings? And they'll be like, okay, I take out your teeth once every few years. Here's my 1 million. So those are privileges we don't have. So you can't use that as a leverage point for Bill Gates did or Mark Zuckerberg did. And so Priscilla in Nairobi has to do it that way. So you have to work twice as hard. And you also have to learn that it really takes effort and it's up to you, really.
Absolutely. And what a lovely way to end our conversation this evening. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give an opportunity to all the 6 universities that are represented. Uasin Gishu, that's Eldoret, University of Eldoret, University of Nairobi, Bomet University, we have Turkana University, we have Machakos University, and last but not least, we have Laikipia University. So an opportunity, if you have any question, before we release Priscilla to jump off our session. And then Ian, also just to come back. So I'm going to put on my headphones so that I can get to hear your questions. So we start with which county? Let me see which hand is up. Okay, let me see. There is no hand up so far. Good. Felix Omondi, tell us your name, your county, and then your question for Priscilla. Felix?
Okay, thank you. It's Daniel, Nairobi County. Yeah, my question is, I heard you insist that we must look for additional skills, but you didn't give us an example of a site whereby we can find these online skills. So would you mind giving us some of these examples?
You had the question? No. You didn't? Okay, fine. So Felix, please repeat your question as I hand over the earphones to Priscilla. Please take it again so that she can respond to you. Something about skills. Then after Felix, we will go to Bomet University.
Okay, it's Daniel, University of Nairobi. My question is, I heard you insist that we should look for additional skills, but you didn't give us an example of a site whereby we can get these online skills to deepen our utility in the society.
Okay, so Felix, thanks. Let's go. So we will compile the question, then come back to you. So how do we get entrepreneurship skills are important? So how do we enhance them? Bomet University. So Bomet, then Machakos. Bomet.
Okay, from Bomet. Entrepreneurship. Sometimes we need to understand that the roads to success in the field of entrepreneurship, okay, we need to understand maybe different strategies. Okay, there's a say goes by that a good journey in a quality and a well-maintained and a very good smooth road. So, and my question is that as an entrepreneur, or for example, you want to identify any business opportunity, there is some things you need to say. For example, my question is like, how do you identify the opportunity that leads to set up? And for example, maybe you have many opportunities in your mind, brainstorming your and which kind of criteria are you going to use so that you can say this idea is the one I'm going to start with? Thank you.
Use is there like a sort of a criteria which they can use to filter and settle on one idea? So thank you, Machakos University, and then let me see if there is any other extra hand. So we will do Machakos University, and then Turukana University, and then we will finish out with University of Eldoret. So Machakos, Turukana, then University of Eldoret. Machakos?
So hello, good evening. Yes, good evening. Yeah. Okay, so I had a question, or rather we have two questions. Okay, so the first question goes to Priscilla. So I was asking, how does she make the profit from the business? Is it from the sale of those gadgets, or from doing the soil testing? Yes. So that is the first question.
And the second question is, what are some of the managerial traits you have been successful so far? Thank you.
Close to the laptop. Just come close. You can also type it out, by the way. You can type it out and then we will be able to read it out for you. All right, let's go to Turukana University.
Okay,
okay, yes, go ahead.
The second question was, what are some of the managerial attributes that have made you successful to find your business?
Yeah, okay. And the first question was how make the profit from the gadget, from doing the.
We are struggling to hear you, Machakos, so we'll come back, but you can also drop it on the chat. Let's go to Turukana University. Turukana University?
Yes, my name is Kimunya Glenn from Turkana University, and my question is, what are the challenges facing entrepreneurs today, and which strategies can I take in order to become a successful entrepreneur? Thank you.
Turkana is quite loud and clear. What are the challenges and what steps can we take? Right, thank you to Turkana. Then University of Eldoret. Prince, I can see you and proud to see the good job that you're doing in Uasin Gishu County. So Prince?
Hello, good evening. So I'm calling Mark from the University of Eldoret. My question was
We can't hear you. Prince, are you there?
Yes, can you hear?
Yes, we lost the question. We didn't hear the question.
Okay, good evening again. I'm calling Mark from the University of Eldoret. Yeah, I was just asking about the business plan, and I was asking, is it necessary for us, the university students, to have a business plan? And if it is necessary, what factors do you need to consider when having that business plan?
A good question. Do you need a business plan, especially for people like them, and what can they consider in the business plan? Priscilla, I want to hand it over to you so that you can respond to this wonderful, amazing, they're not future, they are current and future entrepreneurs.
Great.
Yes.
So we have a few questions. So the very first question was around how do we enhance entrepreneurship skills?
Yes.
So I think there are multiple ways to enhance entrepreneurship skills, and I think programs such as the ones that I Choose Life offers allow the potential entrepreneurs to gain specific skills that would allow them to explore entrepreneurship and setting up business. So learning from entrepreneurship support organization helps. Also, another thing that could help you enhance your entrepreneurship skills is self-learning. So if you could look for self-learning materials on how to build a better business, and then also the ABCs and the basics of setting up a business. And then if you allow me, I'll mix up some of the questions that I feel are complement each other. And this also goes into a question that revolved around idea formation framework. So once you're already getting these skills, how do you then decide on this is the best idea for me? And I usually use a very simple thing that I learned that I think has been very beneficial, and I've also transferred it to a few of the other entrepreneurs that I've worked with, and I feel like it helps them. And it's called finding your ikigai. So finding your ikigai involves finding the different aspects of yourself that will tie into the business idea that you're forming. So it revolves around a few key aspects. It's identifying what are you passionate about? What are you skilled in? Mm-hmm. What does the world need? And what can you be paid for as well? And I think there's one more. But essentially look up Ikigai, and then it has a framework that ties into each other. And then as you're coming up with your idea, make sure that the idea you come up with falls in the middle. For example, I could give a brief in terms of, in my case, right? So I'm very passionate about agriculture and science and innovation and smallholder farmers and improving the lives of smallholder farmers. What am I skilled in? So my background is in soil science. I also have technical skills. So they also tie into what I'm passionate about. And then there's the question of what can I be paid for? So I can be paid for building technologies within my own passions and within my own skills that would then serve the people I'm passionate about, and which is the smallholder farmers. And then there's a question of what does the world need? So the world, in this case, it needs food security. And food security can be achieved through empowerment of smallholder farmers. So all this then tie in together, right? Mm-hmm. And when you link up all of them, what your Ikigai does is that building a business is hard. So you want to build a business in an area that even if tomorrow, like when we go through the valley of death, you're not being paid, you don't know where you'll get salaries for employees, your shop is being closed and maybe you'll have to open it again, you will still wake up in the morning and still do it. So that ties directly into the passion that you have. And then there was also another question that ties into that around business planning.
Yes.
Is a business plan important? I feel a business plan is important. There's this thing that we were always told by motivational speakers, that if you don't have a plan, then you're planning to fail. Yeah,
Yes,
I didn't
absolutely.
like it. I didn't know I've become the type of person that says it because it's true. If you don't set up a business plan in all the elements of a business plan, then you don't really have a plan for your business. And if you were to focus on building a business plan, I think you mentioned the business model canvas.
Yes.
So the business plan over the years has evolved. And the business model canvas allows you to have all the aspects of a business plan in one sheet, which makes it very easy. And then also something to note is that a business plan changes. It's not set in stone. So for example, we may decide I want to set up a business and this is how I want it to run. You get into the business, you realize it would run better this way. So be open to yourself and see how you would be able to do this. There was a question about managerial expertise.
Yes.
That's required. Mm-hmm. So in terms of managerial expertise that's required, okay, so that's a hard one. So once you're able to identify your business plan and you've built out your business model canvas, what it does is it gives you a set of skills that are required for that particular business. And I always feel like before we even go into managerial skills, because managerial skills usually involve managing activities, it's on self-management. So you start from a self-management level where I'm able to build up a business plan, and this is how we're supposed to do it, and then now you start doing it. This is something as an entrepreneur you learn on the go. So I know that there's a theory around it, and there are people that push that you have to be skilled in X and Y and Z.
Yes.
But what I learned is every business is different, and how you manage your business really, if you're able to manage your time and manage your activities and manage your finances, then you will be able to have the right type of skills. So I think we just went back to the list. So you have to have good financial management, and you have to have good time management as well, but you also have to be passionate and have dedication.
And innovative.
Yeah, dedication, innovation as well, so that you're iterating as you go.
Yeah.
I think the other question was around challenges. Challenges facing entrepreneurs and how to solve them. So entrepreneurship has multiple types of challenges. And one of the biggest challenges that we talk about a lot is financial challenges. So not having the finances to even set up the initial business.
Yeah.
And this is a very big challenge because if beti yako haikuivana, then it becomes a challenge to even have the prerequisite funds that you need for your business. But the good thing is, and we've learned this moving forward, is that now it is easier than it was previously, because previously you could only access finance from banks. But now if you have already built a structure and a semblance and you have your savings, you can set up the most basic type of business that you have. And then even as you grow it, you will see people that are interested in your business and that would like to support your business to help you grow and scale. And a business plan even helps you to get that type of finance that you need. Another challenge is not having the right type of skills for the right type of business that you're building. And this then leads to the business failing. And I'll maybe go back to the topic around how I'd set up a hair salon. So I set up a hair salon. I loved everything about the hair salon. Everything was working out. But I didn't have any skills
to manage.
But I had people management skills. I had planning skills. I had time skills. But then because this was not a core skill that I had, and you know in how salons or service businesses are run, it's a commission-based structure where you have employees that are paid on commission. And what they would do is on days they would not come, but the shop is open and you're paying rent for that day and the customer has come, but you don't know how to braid and you don't know how to do things. So the way to solve this is by one, ensuring that the type of business you're setting up, you have the skills for it. I know sometimes it's a lot, it's a big ask, but we always say that you should always have the skills for the business that you want to set up. Don't set up a restaurant if you can't cook. Don't set up a hair salon if you can't do hair. Because for you to even transfer these skills as your staff come in and go out, you will need to teach somebody how to do something. And I know people will ask, what about a bank? If you're setting up a bank, then you have bank management skills.
Yeah.
If you're setting up, I think there are a few businesses that we used to set up when we were in campus. I think people would set up playing station.
Yeah.
Don't set up a playing station if you don't know how to,
Or a
to
cyber.
operate, or a cyber, and you don't know how to open
print.
a Word document, and you don't know how to print.
Yeah.
Make sure you get the skills that you need for that type of business before you set it up. Don't open a clinic and you don't have any medical background or medical, because one, you won't know what the requirements for that business are, and you won't know how to relate with the customers for that business as well. So those are two key ones. And then another one in entrepreneurship is growth. Sometimes you'll start a business and it's running well, but it's not growing. So how do you catalyze that growth? And this is by staying innovative, looking for the trends. Like, for example, when we started out, we didn't really have TikTok. So I feel like today it's easier to set up a business on TikTok. I have friends that run businesses from their sitting rooms and a drop location in CBD because they have access to social media. And what that requires is you're only paying like 1,000 Kenya shillings a month for a shelf in the CBD where people can collect items, but all you do is market it online. So you have a phone, you take a picture, you post it online. Somebody says, I want to buy that shoe or I want to buy that bag. And you tell them, okay, come pick it up at this location. Or I can send it to you by courier and you pay for the delivery fees. So nowadays, it's so much easier to set up a business than it was maybe pre-COVID. Let's say before COVID. It was harder, but now it's easier because you don't even need inventory. You can do drop shipping, where you know that Priscilla has soil testing devices and I can market soil testing devices. When people say, give me 3 soil testing devices, you call me and you say, send 3 soil testing devices to this location. That way you didn't buy stock, and then they pay you pay me the required amount, you make your profit.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope we've been able to learn a lot. Priscilla,
Yes.
your parting shot.
My parting shot. Entrepreneurship is hard. I know that's not the part you want to hear, but entrepreneurship is very fulfilling. It helps you stretch yourselves to beyond limits that you knew were possible. And then also, in as much as it ties you down, it gives you a lot of freedom. And I feel that the next generation that's coming on, or the future is in innovations around entrepreneurship. And the people that will lead this are the people that are in school now. Because this is literally the best generation ever. You have access to a global community, you have access to support organizations, and you also have access to skills that were previously unimaginable by people. So this is your time, and the time is now.
This is your time. And I'm privileged to having spoken to Elon Musk of this world. I'm privileged to having spoken to the Gil and the Zuckerbergs of the future Zuckerbergs. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our session today. I hope you've been inspired. I hope you've acquired what you needed, the energy, the drive that you needed for you to start that business, for you to turn that idea into a service, into a product, and later on to make it into the market. I want to share something about entrepreneurship. It doesn't matter what career you are pursuing. Entrepreneurship skills are very important skills for you to possess, especially in this fast-changing world. You need those skills. When you talk about resilience, when you talk about innovativeness, when you talk about need to take action, when you talk about value-driven, when you talk about creative thinking, all these skills can be better portrayed when you pursue the entrepreneurship journey. You've heard from Priscilla. She has failed. She woke up. That's resilience. And basically, that's what you need. And it is going to empower you. You've heard about how they've had to develop their product, improve on it. That is creativity. That is innovativeness. And that's what you need. And the best time to start is now. While you're still at campus, utilize all the knowledge that is coming in. SEAL is one of the best programs that you can ever be subjected to. The SEALs program will empower you, build your skills. And the beauty about it is that it builds you holistically. Today we've touched about entrepreneurship. I know later on you'll have sessions on sexual reproductive health. You'll have sessions on academic and career mentorship. You'll have sessions on leadership and governance. And later on you'll have spiritual foundation, sports, security, and the rest. So take advantage of this program. It has transformed our lives. I can attest to it. The SEALs program, were it not for the SEALs program, then perhaps some of us could not have the platforms that we have. So take advantage of it. Take advantage of the time that you have. Make the best use of it. And we wish you the very best. Thank you. And that has been our time with you. Asanteni sana. A shout out to Turkana University. A shout out to Bomet University, Laikipia University, Nairobi University, Machakos University. Last but not least, Turkana University. Uasin Gishu, the University of Eldoret, all the way from Uasin Gishu. Asanteni sana. Priscilla, for them to get you on LinkedIn, what can they search?
My name is Priscilla Wakarera on LinkedIn.
So on LinkedIn, you can find her as Priscilla Wakarera, or follow Rhea. You'll be able to get to know much about them. Asanteni sana. God bless you. Have a lovely evening. Ian, we used to say SEALs. SEALs. Then you say I'm empowered. SEALs. SEALs. I cannot hear you. You can unmute. SEALs. I'm empowered. When I say SEALs, I'm empowered. Great. And remember, the goal of the SEALs program, you empower 10, you reach 100. So this information that you've received today should not stop with you. Reach out to a friend, reach out to a friend, to reach out to a friend with the same message. And together, we will be able to transform our world. Thank you and bye. Adios.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the students from all over our universities. I know we've had a wonderful session from Priscilla and Isaac, and that was very, I can see from the comments on the chat box where those were very, very, it looks like a very, very interesting session, and the interest on entrepreneurship, it's quite exciting to see the different SEALs asking the different questions and the interaction. And Priscilla has a very wonderful story. And thank you, Priscilla and Isaac. And Isaac brought it very well, very practical, very real. I know we are taught a lot by the different people who come to speak to us, motivational speakers around the socials and everywhere. But we're very, very happy. Thank you, Isaac, so much. Priscilla, may God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the tail end of our bulletin today. And as usual, we need to evaluate the session. So I will post the session evaluation link on the chat box. Kindly make sure that you have filled it. And on the session or the topic for today, it's under economic empowerment, that is entrepreneurship. You'll be able to get a set of questions that are there. So on the chat box, I have already posted that. Kindly, the different county officers ensures the different team members have been able to fill the session evaluation tool so that we get feedback on how we can continue improving on the different aspects of the training so that we are able to deliver quality and timely program to you guys wherever you are. So this information really helps us to better as even we try the new model. I know it's quite new. Previously, we've been doing entire online or physical trainings. This is hybrid. We're trying to just get the glimpse of it as we do this. So ensure you have filled the session evaluation. And Mwaka, before we conclude, where is the scoreboard? We need to know which university is leading. Which university is leading? Is it Turkana? Is it Machakos? Is it Wasingishu? Is it Bomet? Which university is leading? If your university is leading, shout Ahu. I want to hear you guys. Which university? Which university? Ata Ahu kushout migani itaanza. Let me see. Which university? Which university? Bomet Melala. Where are you guys today? James, where are you? You are here. Turkana University. Joseph, where did you disappear to? Where are you? Turkana SEALs. Turkana all the way from Lodwar. I can see Bomet. Hi, Bomet. Hi, Turkana University. Naona. Thank you, Joseph. Good job. Aha, let's go to Nairobi. Nairobi Mkwapi. Felix and crew. I hope as you are doing this, the different universities, you're continuing to fill the session evaluation so that we get feedback. University of Nairobi. Ahu! Semeni Ahu! Which building are you in, Felix? Are you in education building?
Yeah.
You guys, that's where I am alumni of the University of Nairobi main campus. So I'm so happy to see the education building class. But ni Nairobi mnatuangusha mahali. Tutaongea hiyo story. But now you're okay. Machakos, Stanley, Master Silwetu, Stanley or Winnie, where are they? Machakos na Mwaka huko. Where are you guys? Let me see you. Eish, ndo huyo Machakos University. Hi Winnie and crew. Nawaona. Cheers, Thank you. Mwaka, give us the scores. Which university is leading? Mwaka, you can unmute and speak. and tell us which university is leading. As you are doing this, kindly ensure you have filled the session evaluation tool. County officers, kindly ensure that the different teams are filling the session evaluation. Mwaka, we're waiting for you with the scores. Watu wa Bomet University tunaona hapo mnagoja kwa hamu na gamu kabisa. Thank you so much. Mwaka? Mwaka, where is Mwaka? Hey, Laikipia, my friends, the most organized. Where are you? Ama mnagoja kutangazwa nyinyi ndio washindi tu. Laikipia, can you switch on your videos? I need to see you.
We are here.
Wewe unashinda kusema tu you are here, you are here. How was the session, Ali?
Session was good.
The session was good. What new did you learn? Eh? Share the joke with us, bana. Sas. Naona tu unacheka tu hapo. How are you? Which university is that?
Which university? From Bomet.
Oh, Bomet University. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember we are coming to the tail end of this program. That means we've gone through the 6 modules. That is, we started with health, we went to education, went to employability, leadership and governance, environment, and we already did spiritual foundation in our first session. So we covered the part on employability. Today we've covered entrepreneurship. That means the coming 2 Fridays, that is next week and the week on 14th, I think. So we'll have the commissioning. That is the graduation for you to be able to say you went through the SEALS program, because we shall be issuing certificates and it will be a big event. So the different county officer will communicate to you on which particular Friday, 4th or 14th, because there's one thing we are trying to confirm with the guest speaker. So depending on the availability, we'll tell you which day the commissioning will be. So as we prepare for the different teams, kindly prepare very well. We shall stream live from the different universities. We are trying to organize how we shall be able to have recordings in the different universities so that we can be able to know what exactly will be happening. So it's a big day for you to be commissioned. Remember, we started with 700 applications. We shortlisted 200. They came to 100 until you are selected. So you are very important in this particular program. And you must own it and feel like you deserve it. And you are the best. For you are here going through the SEALS program. And you've seen the products of the different people who've come here. You've seen Huber come here. We've seen Isaac today. Isaac was one of us. Huber was one of us. The different I Choose Life alumni all over the globe. That is what is waiting for you. Just a matter of years, 10, 15 years down the line, you will see it. You'll be in various places, influential places, making an impact around different communities around the globe. So ladies and gentlemen, ensure you fill the session evaluation from I Choose Life Africa offices. My name is Ian Muiga. I work for I Choose Life Africa. And from here, we say, Kwaheri. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely Friday evening. This is the last day of the 3rd month of the year. Kindly let's have fun, but have fun responsibly. It being a Friday, najua leo ni siku mambo mingi naendeleanga, sitaki kusema mambo ya sherehe, but kindly ensure that you are an agent of change in wherever you go and you represent Christ. That's all. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. From here, God bless you. We love you. And we look forward to the commissioning day. Asanteni, I can see the claps and all. Thank you, Asanteni sana. God bless you.